So we're going to take a look at some Jerry licks from I Shall Be Released. This is the version from the self-titled Jerry Garcia Band album that's live. It was released August 27th, 91. And there's a couple solos. He takes real long ones, but we're going to look at just the first time through the progression of the first solo. Starts right at 140 on the recording. So of course, I've got a practice backing track with the tabs. At the end, I'll put a link to it in the description below. You can follow along and try this stuff out yourself. But let's take a listen real quick to me playing through it, and then I'll break down what's going on. So this is one that I should really write out the vocal melody for. I'll make a video for that somewhere because it is so critical to this song. It revolves all around that strong melody. And of course the chords as well. And let's take a look at the progression. It's just G, right? A minor. It's just going right up to scale. Of course, B minor, C, back to G. And then sometimes plays a little like sus thing here, a little C over G. So again, it's just right up the chord numbers. B minor, real quick C, and that's it. So super simple progression, really soulful. This is such a great tune. Let's get into it. It's the first part right here. He's playing just the G major pentatonic scale, and he's starting off just sliding right up here, and then right when the chord kicks in, hits it right there. So it's doing the same thing, right? Sliding from A to B here, from the second to third scale degree, and then same thing there, up an octave. So I talk about that stuff a lot, recycling, and you know, if you haven't noticed, I recycle the idea of talking about recycling. It may get annoying, but it's so critical to have this in our playing and to get us out of the noodling sound we can often have if we're improvising, especially within the jam band kind of realm of just going up and down scales, but repeat stuff. So he does a great job right there. Repeats it, and then breaks that scale pattern, just going straight up the scale, and goes here. That's the first lick. And then gets out of that pentatonic sound and goes right down the G major scale here. And instead of going right to this note here, slides up into that right as the A minor hits, and that is E. That is the fifth of an A minor chord. So like Jerry does a lot, he's playing those chord tones when the chord is hit. And then back down, so. And this is a real subtle thing right here. Playing C, but he's bending up to it here. And at first I thought he was just hitting this, but listening really closely, slowing this recording down, I could hear this the second time. It bends down subtly, and the only way to get that is like that. I mean, you could go, but it just wasn't quite the sound I was hearing. Is like that. So again, and he plays it kind of quiet too, and then waits. The B minor hits the B again. Again, there's a B right here, and then bends it up, and that bends it up to that C. Oh, sorry, when you're at B minor here, that gives us some tension. That's a tense note because you get the B and C, and that's good though. We want that tension and release constantly. So he's on the B minor, bending the B up, down, and then going up that G's again, G, A, B, just 1, 2, 3. So that's all, and then over part of the B minor, and then over the C chord, and hitting this E note, so that's kind of outlining, a little bit of the C chord, and then kind of like a C major pentatonic, but just the tiniest little piece. I wouldn't even think that, you know, so much like, oh, now you're doing C major pentatonic, but it sounds a little bit like it, and then finishes it with, and that's the beautiful thing. Another thing I talk about all the time, 6. I love them. Jerry loved them. Great way to end on that, especially for this song. It's so kind of sweet sounding. So it's outlining the G chord by playing the 5th and the 3rd, the major 3rd. So D and B, like when you're playing this G shape, or I should say the A shape of the K system, but the G chord, because you're a G, outlines it right there. So just coming down there, like that. And then it sounds nice and resolved going to the G, but it's not perfectly resolved because you're not actually hearing the G note in there. So the second time through resolves it really nice. So I thought this was a perfect amount just to do these two things through. And then he's gonna, while it's hanging on that chord, they'll pick up into the next line. You got, and then you got the classic Jerry pull out there. Haven't had that solo right there. You know, he doesn't want to do it right away. He's got to save some stuff, keep it interesting, right? And then, boom, right on G, hits that B, major 3rd again. Goes real quick up to here, up to a G, high G now. So from G to G. And then now we've got the big time, he's going into it. Going from the major 3rd, B right here, we're getting way up there. Pull off, and slide. And, you know, some people think, oh, it gets kind of weak up here. One way to bring out the sound a little more is a couple things you can do, or a few things. You can just, you know, dig in a little more with your pick if you're playing with a pick. Turn your pick a little bit. So instead of having it flat on the string, turn it just a little bit like this, and that can give you a little fatter sound. Or bring it back here. Maybe not too far, but because the further you go back towards the bridge, the higher the sound is it's gonna sound. The timbre of it's gonna be a little more trebly, and that'll bring it out. And or you can do all 3, you know. So instead of just going, see how much that brings that out again. So I just played a little harder, brought it back just a little bit, just kind of on the other side of this pickup here, and then turn the pick a little bit. And that helps bring that out. So anyways, that's something to really work on, find what works for you. You know, you might be using your fingers too. Maybe you use a different finger, you kind of pluck more or something instead of using your thumb, you know. That can help. But anyways, I digress. That's how you want to work on bringing those out a little more. And then kind of just like using this G major pentatonic here. And then we get to A minor chord. And it's playing right in an A. That same little thing, but just 3 instead of sliding down. And now the next string, reversing it. So a little recycling, but kind of like a reversal, you know. A little pause, and then right down here, C, B, C, and that's the minor 3rd of A minor. So still stressing those the chord tones he's always doing. And then when it gets to the B minor, we've got the same thing right here, going into a 5th, the F sharp of B minor. So he's outlining this little shape right here. It's like the D minor shape. I shouldn't say it like that. It is the D minor shape. If you're thinking in terms of kind of the K system. But to get this, it goes up to here. It goes so fast. To me, it's a little easier to just hammer on here and then slide. And then get your strong finger here, because then you're going right into this. So again, outlining that B minor. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Hammering up, sorry. Right on the C, and that's going into E, which is the major 3rd of C. So, and then brings it back down. And then here's a beautiful part here. Right here, playing the only note outside of the scale, at so far at this point anyways, a B flat, which is what? But a minor 3rd in the key of G, so, and bending it up about a half step or so. It doesn't have to even be exact. Up and back down, and then to G. So if you just play the major third, it would sound, you know, like this. It's like, that sounds just kind of lame, a little too predictable, too nice. Whereas this gives it more of that tension, and then when it releases to the G, it sounds even more resolved, gives it a little more edge, a little more color, sounds a little more interesting. And that's it. So that's just 2 times through. He just keeps going, you know, on this. But I thought that first time through really encapsulated the song and the melody you could hear in there so well. He's playing a lot of those chord tones, although towards the end he does really start ripping it up too. So maybe I'll do another one of these to follow up a part 2 or something. So yeah, if you enjoy this stuff, you want the PDF maybe to have your own, check out the link to my Patreon page down below. It's a monthly subscription. You get things like this and everything else I have. There's different tiers. You can get the MP3s, well, my backing tracks. You can get the full-on MultiTrack WAVs if you want to get really into recording and mixing stuff down. But all the PDFs, all the charts are there, and every future stuff that I make will be there as well. So check it out. I'll put a link over here and the link in the description down below. And if you want to now try it out with the practice backing track, check it out over here as well. And I'll see you in the next video.